Hi everyone, I'm very excited. I'm here with Mark Erhardt, software engineer at BitGo. Last time we met was during Scaling Bitcoin Milan, so it was only 1 year ago, and you had a very exciting year. Want to talk a little bit about?
Sure. Well, my Bitcoin life took a pretty new trajectory with scaling Bitcoin. I met lots of people that are really busy with Bitcoin, and I was just about to finish my master thesis where I was working on coin selection. So I was presenting preliminary results. And since then, I've finished my master's degree, wrote and talked a lot about coin selection with various people. My results have been implemented at least 3 times already, so I'm pretty happy about that. And now I work full-time at a company that provides services in Bitcoin, so I get to talk to Bitcoin about Bitcoin a lot. I moved to Silicon Valley and meet a lot of the
Poor
people.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
A difficult life, I can imagine, yeah.
Definitely, it's so different. And I get to meet a lot of the people that work on Bitcoin every day, and that's super exciting.
Wow. But previously you worked a lot for Bitcoin stock exchange.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
Well, so there are a lot of resources about Bitcoin in the internet now. There's forums and discussion platforms, but many of them, somebody just wrote up stuff and then it never gets maintained, or Reddit and discussion forums, definitely they give good information, but the information just moves to page 2 and then is forgotten. So Stack Exchange is very easy to find on the web, and we have quite a few Bitcoin experts that contribute content. So I think that it just is a great platform to get information, to get your questions answered. We have now 18,000 questions and 22,000 answers, and we're graduating this month. So actually we're leaving the beta and going to be a full-fledged Stack Exchange site.
So you worked on the implementation of Segwit for BitGo.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the difference between Segwit and Segwit 2x?
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I helped coordinate the implementation of Segwit for BitGo, and Segwit is a protocol change where it introduces a new transaction format, and this transaction format is more efficient, so it gets discounted in weight compared to old style transactions. And that way, we, especially as a multi-signature using company, can save a lot of blockchain space, so I'm pretty excited about the introduction of that. So Segwit was started sometime about 2 years ago, and every step along the way was a public process. People talked about it at conferences, on the mailing list. When there were meetings, there was public write-ups of that. But Segwit 2x basically was a pre-made agreement where a bunch of people got together and then decided that they will put this upgrade out, and then issued an announcement to the community that this is going to happen. So this is, for me, fundamentally against the spirit of Bitcoin, and I don't think that Bitcoin should be changed by a small number of people that agree themselves to some project. And I think that's the main problem with Segwit 2x, is that it was not publicly discussed before it was announced. It was decided by a small number of people, and it does not have the community buy-in that Segwit had. When Segwit activated, 98% of the nodes were ready for it. When Segwit 2x next month will activate, we don't know yet, but right now it's 98% not ready for it. And also, Segwit can be adopted by each user at their own leisure. They decide whenever to start using the new format. And Segwit 2x, the 2x part, well, Segwit is active, right? The 2x part requires everybody to be ready at the same time. And this is not something that is very easy in the Bitcoin community, I think.
So last year you told me, who cares about coin selection? Actually, I thought that was pretty interesting. So what happened for coin selection?
Well, I did get a lot of feedback for my master thesis, and I've talked to quite a few people in the Bitcoin community, especially developers, of course, about it. And so yeah, there were a lot more people interested than I thought. There's now 3 implementations. Bitcoin Core is switching to a style of selection where it does branch and bound algorithm, which I proposed in my master thesis, and then falls back to random selection. And we're working on that right now. Then Bitcoin JS has already implemented new coin selection algorithms, and I've been working on something at BitGo, of course. And so the interesting thing is, of course, when theory meets reality, and I think that I mean, there are some savings to be made. It's going to be cheaper to use the branch and bound algorithm, but really it's a small change. I think that a lot of companies are overlooking other easy ways of saving a lot of money. So first of all, they could just switch to SegWit and save a lot of block space and thus fees. A lot of companies have not been using batching yet. I know that one big exchange recently switched to batching, and that's just, let's say, all payouts that are supposed to happen in half a minute go out in one transaction, and then they need much less inputs. And other things that are, of course, that a lot of the companies are not maintaining their UTXO set very well. So their UTXO pools grow to very large sets, like 70,000 unspents. And they should be consolidating their unspents in periods of low fees, like we've been seeing in the last weeks, and I've not seen a lot of activity like that yet.
So, what future developments are you excited about?
Well, there's the obvious ones like Lightning Network and stuff like that, Limbo Bundle. But like for my work, mostly the key aggregation and signature aggregation that comes with Bella Nieve and Schnorr signatures. So a multi-signature transaction could appear like a single sig, and that's going to save us a lot of money.
Yeah. So thank you very much for this interview and for your time. Thank you, BHP Network, for hosting us. So, what is the topic of your presentation during the meetup?
I'll be talking a little bit about coin selection and how to save money using the blockchain.
Oh, interesting. And if you want to watch it, the link is in the description. So, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Bye, and thank you to everybody who is watching us. See you again for the next vlog. Bye.
Bye.